创立70年，奋斗新时代。欢迎收看庆祝新中国成立
The brilliant 70 years, and let's make efforts to usher in the new era. Welcome to the series live shows of the 70th anniversary of the founding of the PRC. And today we are going to visit Hunan and to take a look at the changes of today. And welcome you. There are ancient poems describing Hunan, that Hunan is a place of water and mountains, and there are also the famous scenic spots. And the culture of this Hunan province is also very popular in China, and it is the cradle of hybrid rice and the locomotive. With the time in New Era, Hunan is ushering in New Era also. No matter the natural scenic spots or the life and the production, Hunan is famous for the color of green now. And now let's take a look at Hunan province today. There are waves and heroes here. Here is Shaoshan, Hunan province. In front of us is the green mountain Shaofeng, which is the highest mountain in Hunan province. Go through the mountain, you can see different lakes. And in summer, it's quite green, and the scenic spots and people are mixed in the scenic spots. And with the government policies of the protection of the green water and the blue sky, here stressed the protection of the nature very much. And the standards of the water are qualified, and they are above 90% qualification. And Green Park per capita achieve 12.5 square meters. The ecological situation is also improved. There are 3,000 mountains and 800 lakes. Here is Zhangjiajie in Hunan province. In July, it's quite beautiful and splendid because it is surrounded by the clouds, and which is combined with the forests. It just looks like the heaven. And in 19th era, this has been regarded as the national level forest park in China, which is also the first one in China. And 60 years has passed. The people living in Zhangjiajie are making the living on tourism. There are more than 200,000 people here working in tourism industry, and they have made the profits of more than 100 billion yuan. So we can see people here really live on the green mountains and blue skies. The blue sky and the green water and also the green grassland makes us feel comfortable in the morning. By taking the bicycle, we come to Houhu Lake in Changsha, which is just located near the Yuelu Mountain. In recent years, Changsha has developed its urban policy and improved its ecological conservation and also regenerate the green water system. At the same time, they upgrade the city buildings around the Houhu Lake. There are no great development, but protection. So people can still enjoy the original culture and scenery of their hometown. Here is also the model of Hunan's emerging economic development. And we are here to enjoy the spirit, enjoy the scenery of Dongtinghu, lake. And there are also ancient poems written by Fan Zhongyan describing Dongtinghu Lake. There are 4 major rivers in Hunan, which are the branches of the Yangtze River. And here, Dongtinghu Lake, Dongting Lake, is one of the very famous ones. From the upper stream, the government and the Central Party has laid the policy to protect its water quality and to improve the ecological conservation and also ecological restoration, so that the water quality has been improved greatly. And there are more than 200,000 birds living here, and there are millions of cows living here, because the ecological and environmental situation has been improved largely. By watching the videos, you can enjoy the beauty of the mountains and the water in Hunan, and also the changes of the ecological and environmental situation. Only by adopting the protective measures can we achieve the green mountains and clean waters. President Xi Jinping also called on this, and Hunan remembered this call by President Xi. So they are protecting this blue sky and green mountain, because these are the necessity for human's life. I remember there is a harbor named Hualong. In the past, there were landslides, and I heard that local government exerted great measures to restore this ecology. And now the ecological situation has been improved largely. And this harbor's name is changed now. It's called Hualong Wetland. We know that if you want to judge the ecological situation of one place, you can see whether there are enough birds living here. And the birds living in Hualong Wetland also have their friends. That is another animal, another fish. They are also living here in Dongting Lake. And this is called cowfish. And people say if there is cowfish in the lake, people will come here. Here will become very famous. And next, Wang Haoyan, our reporter, is now at this place. Let's talk with him. Hello, Haoyang. What's the situation of Hualong Wetland, and can we see the cowfish today? Hello, dear hosts. I'm the reporter of Hunan Television. I'm now at the Huayang Wetland. I'm at one harbor, and today the temperature is quite high, but the sky is clear. And we are with one of the observers of Dongting Lake and to wait for cowfish. This monitoring spot was visited by President Xi Jinping, and we have prepared the very high identified and the professional cameras. Hope today we can show our viewers the pictures of the cowfish. Take a look at this cowfish. It looks very cute, just like a baby. And you can see this mouth. There are professional names for this mouth. Cowfish is also the angel of Yangtze River. And on this map, the red spots are where the places for cowfish. Why they would like to appear in these spots? We are now at a turn of the Yangtze River, and it's about 18 kilometers. And here has the abundant resources of fish and shrimps. So it's just like the natural canteen for cowfish. So you mean the food attracts the cowfish? Yes. It is hard to imagine that in the past here is just a harbor of sand and stones. And it was quite noisy. A noise is the enemy of cowfish because the cowfish is afraid of the noise. And this is the picture in the past. We are now at this triangle place. And you can see in the past, this place is just like a scar beside the Yangtze River. It looks ugly, but now it's totally changed. And this is the illegal sand and stone harbor of the Yueyang area section of Yangtze River. And later on, Yueyang government has exerted great efforts to improve the ecological and environmental situation in these illegal harbors. So cowfish were coming back. And there are about 120 cowfish here, and there are 240,000 birds here, which is unprecedentedly high. And there are also deer here. We hope and we are convinced that with the efforts of the government and the local authorities, this ecological and environmental situation will last for long. Thank you for your report. And now we are smiling like the cowfish because the cowfish is quite lovely. It's quite nostalgic because there is an ancient Chinese poem talking about the scenery here. And it describes the harmony between human beings and nature. And with the improvement of the ecology, and we can see very rare species of animals in Hunan. And we can even hear the voice of the deer in Hunan. And now let's listen to the voice of Hunan. I think we can close our eyes and listen to the voice of the nature. This is the gift from the nature. We can hear the voice of the forest, the water, and the leaves. These are quite vivid, and we can sense the power of life. I think many viewers were quite enjoyed in this video because we can have the feast for our ears and even our heart. I want to speak some Hunan dialects. Does it mean? Is it beautiful? Yes, it means it's quite comfortable. And because this voice is vivid, and it describes a colorful Hunan, and we can also see Hunan. And let's take a look at the countryside of Hunan. This is Longhui County, Baishedong Country of Hunan Province. go across the clouds and the caves. And you can see the girls and the boys are dancing here. And this is the most famous festival celebrated by them. And they will select their marriage persons here. Here is actually the deep pool location. There are 397 registered pool houses. But years ago, the government of Hunan province exerted the efforts and laid out measures to improve the living standards here. And like they develop to plant the tea and also to train the people here. Since 2015, they have developed more than 80 special products themed at this place. And the income per capita achieved 10,000 yuan. So we can see they have lived out of poverty. High mountains and long roads. We are now at Sangzhi County of Hunan province. And this Hezhi country is now planting the peach trees, which were planted 2 years ago. And this will become their products for making the living. This is also the policy of the government. They found that they have the special soil which is good for planting the peaches. So they integrate the different policies and to plant the peach trees. And in 2018, they have made profits of 3.28 million yuan. And the income per capita also increased greatly. They have also been lifted out of poverty. Also, the countryside tourism industry is booming. People are living in a better life. Here is the heritage of the irrigation project Tsinghua of Hunan. We can see the altitude is about from 500 meters to 1,200 meters. Tsinghua County is located here. Although the mountain is high, the way is long. But since the 18th Party Congress, they have taken their advantages of the natural places and making this countryside place a tourism place. Also, the party members help the poor families, and they are planting the purple rice, and they also plant fruits. So the 264 families, which is 964 people, are lifted out of poverty. And we can see this countryside in deep mountains are quite beautiful, and they are mixed with the nature. It's splendid. Apart from the countryside in Hunan, although they have the beautiful natural scenery, they also have the problems. Like some of the countryside, some of the villages are quite poor. But in recent years, with the efforts of the provincial government of Hunan and the targeted poverty policy, also achieve results here. And we have our reporter, Wan Xin. He is now at the village of Shibadong. Can you tell us the changes of this village? Hello, dear hosts. I'm Wan Xin, the reporter of Hunan Television. And we can hear the voice behind me. And they are playing the drum. Because now is peak season for tourism. Every day there are more than 1,000 tourists here. So in the morning they will play the drum dance. And there are also traditional products here which are also quite popular after the changes. And we can see these are the dried fruits, dried kiwi fruits, and the sausage. These are the must-buy things of the tourists. Last year, they sold more than 40,000 kilograms of the meat, of the dried meat. And these people are doing the embroidery. We can see this is quite beautiful. This skirt is quite beautiful. And this is the traditional black birds and flowers in Miao Ashley group. It takes about a month to make this. In the past, this was quite cheap, so people was hesitated to do so. But now it's quite expensive. So for these women, if they have time, they will do the embroidery. Last year, simply, this village received more than 300,000 tourists and made profits of more than 2 million yuan. There are more and more tourists, but the villagers here are not waiting. They are thinking how to upgrade the tourism industry here. And you can see some houses under construction. These are for more tourists. These are the hotels for the tourists. And this one is about to be finished. In the past, this was an empty house, and it was useless, but now it's transformed. And they will make this into a hotel. The boss of this house is Mr. Yang. Last year, he was not here. He went to the other cities for working. But now he's back. He said he's working hard every day so that this hotel can be opened before the national holiday. There are many young people just like him who went back to this village from big cities. So this has injected the new power of the countryside construction. And in this Shibadong village, they can not only rely on tourism, but also on the fruits like the yellow peaches and other products. In 2018, the per capita income of this village is more than 12,000 yuan, which is 7 times than that of 10 years ago. In the past, there were about 39 people who is not very young, but they are still not married, but now they are all married. And this village is now the model village in Hunan province. About its poverty alleviation, they also achieved fruitful results. And for the future, they have their own plans and ideas. They will tell the targeted poverty alleviation stories to your tourists, but they also want to make this village more vibrant. And we think with the integrated efforts, this village will become more and more popular. Thank you very much for your live reports. And we can see the scenery is quite beautiful, and the people are also smiling happily. But the poverty alleviation is a long-term war. It's a long-term battle. We need to continue, and we need to be consistent. And we can see if we accumulate the happiness and efforts, we can see difference. Just like the unmarried persons here are married. So we hope they can have a better and better life. Hunan is one of the targeted poverty alleviation places. In 2013, the poverty rate in Hunan was 11%, but now it's been decreased to 1%. So we can see their life is really improved. So after watching the videos of the local farmers of Hunan, and now we are going to visit some migrant farmers of Hunan, because there are foreigners in Hunan also. Our reporter is now just beside the farm. Hello, Lily. Before answering your question, I would like to brief you that I'm now at the farm of the hybrid breed. They told me that the categories of the hybrid rice here is now exported to Southeastern Asia. But sometimes we don't have the full harvest. You need the specific cultivation, careful cultivation, but sometimes the result is not so promising. In my hands are the hybrid rice cobs, and we can see it's longer than my arm. This is different from the common rice, and we can see this is about 26 centimeters. This spike looks very big and it's heavy. They told me that on this spike there are about 1,500 rice. And this can also help prevent the insects. Now we have cultivated 10,000 foreign experts planting the hybrid rice. And we can see this part. These are the late crops. Days ago, there were foreign technical teams here, and they were learning from the Hunan experts in planting the hybrid rice. And before our live broadcasting, I talked with the experts that they are teaching in English. And they will integrate the irrigation system and the management of the hybrid rice. When they are teaching the foreign students, the principle they obey is that you need to tell them the skill of planting the hybrid rice. And after they're learning the skill, they will go back to their country and try this skill. We also know that there are about 40 countries and regions in the world planting hybrid rice. And in China, the hybrid rice farm accounts for 15.6 million hectares. And we also have centers in some places. The centers are for cultivating the experts to plant hybrid breed. And these centers are in Africa. We think these centers in Africa will help improve the rice situation in Africa. And we are convinced that there will be more categories of high quality and high standards. Thank you. Thank you, Lily, for your live show at the farm. Just now we saw she's holding the hybrid rice we feel very blessed because harvest is the happiest thing for the farmers. So we think it's better to teach people the skill rather than just to give them the things. As we have these foreign farmers who were trained by us, we think our rice and our skill can go global. We also want to know how about the hybrid rice growing in foreign countries. Let's listen to the foreign farmers. I'm in Nepal, and I'm now at the testing farm. And you can see we've planted 8 types of Chinese hybrid rice, and they are growing fast. They have high quality, high production. They grow fast. And this is from Madagascar. The hybrid rice here also has higher production, and they can reach 12 tons per hectare. Without this hybrid rice, I cannot buy so many things. I want to thank Mr. Yuan Nongping and the Hybrid Institute of Hunan. Welcome back to this series of the honoring of the 70th anniversary of the founding of the PRC. Let's continue today's video on the Hunan. We now have 2 friends on this stage. Let me introduce the green one first. And this is from one famous manufacturing enterprise in Hunan. And it's called the Crane. And this one is from Tsinghua company. It also has the very professional names. In the past, it joined the construction of the tower in Dubai, Alifa Tower. But it also participated in other great projects in the world because it is about 220 tons. It's quite giant. And I can see that you are proud while introducing the manufacturing industry in Hunan. And now let's take a look at the manufacturing industry in Hunan. Here is Zhuzhou, Hunan province. In 1985, the first electric locomotive was produced here. So it is the cradle of the electric locomotive. And now the per hour speed, 240 kilometers, locomotive is underway. And they also have the Maglev system. The locomotive is now developing to an important place for the train production in the world, which accounts for 27% of the world's train production. So this is now speeding up and strive to the world's cradle of locomotive. Zhuzhou is at Changsha City, Hunan province. There are 4 companies here ranking very top in the world in terms of manufacturing, and they have high standards. This factory has the first crane of the world, and it also integrates the skill of internet and artificial intelligence. And this factory is the first pilot programs for the robot production. And they have increased the efficiency of production by 4 times by using these robots. And all the buildings higher than 500 meters in the world are constructed by the cars produced here. And their production accounts for 10% in the world, and the products here are sending to more than 160 countries and regions. And this factory is also ranking among the top ranks. This is the Xiangjiang New area of Hunan. It is the 12th national level new area in central China. The smart bus is now under test. By using the 5G internet without controlling the steering wheel, you can see the bus is running stable. It's running in a stable speed and is quite safe. Here has many testing places for the smart cars or the autonomous driving cars. And the supercomputing center of Changsha is also for the high-end technology. There are different supercomputing systems here. One is Tianhe, and they also offer the service of cloud computing, etc. By watching the video, we can sense that Hunan is really a place for manufacturing. Also, Hunan is making more efforts to achieve high-quality development. And in this May, Hunan laid out that Hunan will improve its innovation and the transformation of its science and technology, and also to speed up with the research and the development of the intellectual property. By following the supply-side structural reform policy of President Xi, Hunan is also making great efforts to transform. And let's take a look at another place of the 70s development of Hunan, Zhuzhou. It's the very early cities for manufacturing in New China. And now it's one of the major manufacturing cities in China. And it has produced many first products in New China. It's only about 15 square kilometers, but they have over 200 factories, and they have made many records. In the past, it was highly polluted. The Xiang River could not stand this pollution. So there were number 1 key projects laid out by Hunan province to change that polluted situation. By the end of 2018, the last port of this area shut down. And now it's integrated with natural tourism and modern scientific and technological industry. By visiting Qingshuitang, we can see the spirit of Hunan. They are brave enough to be the number 1. And now Hunan has the determination to make more innovation and improve more. In front of me is the first electric locomotive after New China. It has been in service for about 60 years. In 1985, it was produced in Zhuzhou, Hunan province. I think you find it quite familiar because it's the green train. And now the train industry in Hunan offers more products. You said this was retired in 2014. And the new train to replace this old one is this white one. Is it the Maglev Train? Yes, it's the 160 kilometers per hour speed Maglev Train. Is now under testing, but we think it won't be long before we can take it. And we can see the development of the locomotive relies greatly on artificial intelligence. I heard another product named Qatar, which is the Smart Locomotive. Yes, it is possibly that this Smart Locomotive will be in service in the 2020 Qatar World Cup. Let's take a look at this locomotive. We are now in the factory. This is called a smart train, but why is it is smart? I feel like I'm on the subway because the ornaments or decorations just look like the subway, but it is more cozy. And now it's started. It's speeding up. The per hour speed is about 20. It's quiet. It's stable. And now we're in the cabin room. And we can see this control. It looks like the subway. And now we are working on this by white lines. This is just like the way just for the train. And we can see the driver is not touching the steering wheel. There are many sensors on this train, like the cameras, to collect the information of the pathway and the direction or the angle of the train, so that to control the train and maintain it on the pathway. If there is deviation, it will change. It will come back. This is not the traditional pathway because it's just the simulated pathway. But if the train meets any deviation, they will reverse it back directly. Well, this long train affects the traffic. And you can see here is a traditional bus. We will compare these two. And there are 6 obstacles. We can see whether the smart bus can pass this turn safely or not. And now it's the bus's turn. Because it's quite narrow here, the bus sped down. And you can see it hits one obstacle, but this one is the smart train. There is no change in its speed, but we can see it does not touch any obstacles, but it can pass the turn. So we can see, although the smart train is longer than the buses, but it is more flexible because it has 3 cabinets, and every cabinet can change the direction flexibly. There are also advantages for this smart locomotive because there are no emission, and it is fully electrified. So for the most, it can have 5 cabinets and can hold 500 persons. It also saves the costs, so it's just like the subway on land. Not long ago, this smart train has passed the high temperature test in Qatar, so it may serve the 2022 Qatar World Cup. For the small and mid-level cities, if they want to save costs and want to help release the traffic jam, this smart train is the new choice. And this is the smart of science and innovation. Innovation does not only change our life, but also offer more possible choices and solutions for the future. In innovation, Hunan is always making efforts and achieving fruitful results. In 2013, President Xi said Hunan needs to give full play to its advantage of location of integrating Yangtze River and Eastern China. In innovation and opening up, Hunan has opportunities. And now, Hunan is more bright. Thank you for watching today's series.